All right, welcome back. It's another week of Otter Talk for the Gold League. We're heading into week 4. Joining me is none other than Fury and Trucks. I'd ask you both how you're doing, but it's obviously wonderful. You guys ready to get right into it?
Yeah, I'm
Ready.
spectacular. Let's fucking speed run this. Sorry, I just swore, didn't mean to.
All right, off to a good start. Let's talk about power rankings. It's time to talk about the Cloud Division. Up top, it looks like undisputed. It is EA Dayspa sitting up there right now. And something to touch on, F's in chat for Mr. Lean. As you all know, Blue Otter League does have a gaming house. And to help support the league, we also run a petting zoo. And unfortunately, one of our llamas got out. So Mr. Lean is out there tracking that down. So shout out to Mr. Lean for hooking us up with the search and rescue for our lost llama. Fred.
I was gonna say, I think Mr. Lean just thinks nobody's gonna win. Everybody's just gonna forfeit like at the same time.
Fair.
And no one's actually gonna win tonight.
Maybe. So
And then the community's just all scuffed.
Fair. Kind of right off the bat, Trucks. You guys are sitting up, number 1 seed. You have yet to drop a game in any of your series. There are a couple 6-0 teams, though. So how do you feel your team kind of stacks up potentially against, let's say, the second place seed who've yet to drop a game? They're 3-0 as well. And then how do you feel you stack up against the top tier teams in the other divisions?
Well, Jupiter, from what I've seen so far, they haven't really played any of the stronger teams in the division yet. I think they've played Rivals and Revolution and maybe even Clinical. They haven't faced anyone that's, I don't know, veteran or whatever status. So I'm curious to see how they are when we play them. When match up against a more veteran team with better players. But in terms of how my team goes up against other divisions, I don't know. Ibiza is going to definitely be a challenge, and then the last division, that's kind of anybody's ball game. I mean, I'm not sure who the top team. Well, I mean, I have my opinion of who the top team is, but really, it could go to 4 different teams. So. I mean, the top teams will definitely be a challenge for sure.
Okay, fair enough. And let's talk about the next team on the list in the Cloud Division. It is New World Esports Jupiter coming in at 3-0 with a 6-2 game score. Fury, you have put them in second place with the majority of the casters as well as our analyst desk, except for Mr. Lean there. Yep. What are your thoughts on this team heading into week 4?
I mean, they just look very solid. Already, obviously, they've dropped a couple games, but nothing on a series yet. Still undefeated 3-0. It's hard to not keep them as second when they are second. If they drop a game tonight, then it's a little bit worrisome. But we kind of have faith that they're gonna look decent going throughout the rest of the split at the very least. I think they're at least top 4.
Okay.
I mean, tonight will be a good test for them against Fire. So
for sure.
Yeah, fair enough. We'll see how they turn out in week 4 up against Fire. We'll talk about that in a little bit, though. Next team we're going to talk about, it is Aftermath Esports. And it looks like, for the most part, the community, as well as the analysts and the casters.
Hey, Eric Calvin, real quick. 5 gifted tier 1 subs. Thank
you so much. Appreciate
Going
it.
to That Decker Guy, Fallen Beats, Level 99 Pidgey, Heliod, and Big Angry Hobo.
Yeah, appreciate it. Hope you're having a wonderful evening. Appreciate the support. Next up, though, Aftermath Esports. Looking like they're sitting in 3rd and 4th for the most part. Trucks, you could have put them in 2nd place, though. So what makes you put them a little bit higher than the league average here?
Being Aftermath, sorry?
Yes.
Putting Aftermath higher because, I don't know, I think that they have, they've shown that they can perform. And I think that, I don't know, Jupiter, I'm just hypothesizing right now, but I think that Jupiter, when they get up against tougher teams, are going to start dropping games. And then Business Time also has been dropping games to some of the lower bracket teams So I think that the mid division of my division, I keep forgetting the name of it, is going to be very scrappy. Like all these teams are going to start taking games off each other.
Okay.
Traxon, I've been told that you are too quiet per
I am
Pop-Tart. You do not meet Pop-Tart standards of loudness, and you're going to have to change them.
See if I can even turn myself up. You get ugly. Wait for root. Oh, well, that's weird. The question is, am I too loud now? Shout out to Big Angry Hobo for the gifted sub. How am I sounding though? Everything alright? Do I sound good in Discord? Oh, I don't hear anything now. Oh. We have a technical difficulty, 1 second.
Everybody bye.
Okay, there we go. Alright, we're back. Lost it for a half second. We're good to go now, though. Sorry about that, everyone.
Okay.
I don't know what happened. Headset issues, go figure. Okay. We left off with Aftermath Esports. It's time to talk about business time now. Pretty much.
Time for business time?
It is time for business time. Everyone but the community who selected them in third or second, and one of our casters put them in third. For the most part, though, everyone's kind of slotting business time into fourth place. So, Fury, you want to give me the rundown on that?
I just think that's a solid place for them right now. I would definitely see them in kind of the top standings of Cloud, especially right now with how they're looking. They're playing well. It's not top of the lists, obviously. Like I don't think you can safely put them first through third, but I definitely wouldn't put them in sixth through eighth. I think if you have them in fourth or fifth, it's a pretty solid pick for you with the way they have been playing. But I think they need to really start coming up starting this week if they want to make sure they secure a playoff spot.
Yeah, all right. Fair enough. Fair enough. And we're going to talk about the Litter Monkeys Fire next, coming in, sitting in fifth place, 1 and 2 with a 3 and 4 overall score for 11 points. Trucks, you put them in sixth place. Go ahead and give me the rundown behind that.
I put them in fifth, I thought. But
yes,
anyways,
you were right. Fifth place. My apologies.
Anyways, I put them in fifth before I found out that they're going to be getting a new ADC Wonderworld. Well, basically Wonderworld's rejoining the org. So now I'm not sure if that fifth, I'm going to stick with that fifth now. And like I said before, like the middle of the pack of my division is definitely going to be a scrap fest. So I think if they get Wonderworld in, they can definitely climb up, and they're probably going to be in the top 2 or 3, depending on how Wonderworld adapts into the roster.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's a hard agree. I had no idea they brought him on. K is such a good ADC. Actually nuts.
Okay. Does that change where you put them?
It's official yet, but yeah, I think that they might even go above Jupiter or business time. It depends. It depends on what happens. Like the thing is most people are having a business time just because they had a platform mid laner, but the guy's pool, no offense to him, doesn't look that deep. And then also like people are taking games off them. Like Rivals, like I said, took a game off them. So I don't know if they got to get something together, figure out their drafts, whatever it is.
Yeah, we'll see what they're able to do. Up next, we're talking about Rivals. 1 and 2, 2 and 4 game score for 10 points. Most of everyone's, a lot of them in sixth, as they currently are in sixth as well. It does feel like Cloud's a little bit easier to kind of pick your power rankings. Teams seem to be fitting in these like designated zones for the most part, at least when you look at the overall power rankings up on the board. Sixth place, is that a fair spot to put them, Fury? Do you think they have any growth? Do you think they could potentially fall later on in this season, or do you think they're going to kind of remain around sixth in the long run?
We're talking about Rivals here, right?
Yep.
I look. I don't want to say anything bad against Revolution, but I do think Rivals have kind of a free win tonight, which would put them up there, especially if Literal Monkey's Fire go down tonight. If they end up falling, then and Rivals win, they're gonna put themselves right into fifth place automatically. So I think they still can come back, but I think, legitimately have to win every game starting tonight, and they have to hope Literal Monkey's Fire, or actually, yeah, just Literal Monkey's Fire lose 2 games.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. Up next, it is Revolution Halcyon. Bucks, you have them in 7th. They're coming in 0-3, 2-6. Do you see any improvement that they might be making in this season, or do you think this is going to be a rough one for them?
I mean, right now it looks like a rough one for them. And then Rivals, who just came off 2-0 business time, is going to face them. And I mean, I've played Rivals. They're very scrappy. They're very aggressive. Like, if I think that Rivals could just roll them over, and then they're just going to have to try to keep working to bounce back.
All right, fair enough. Up next, it is the 8th seed team, currently Clinical 0-3, 1-6 on the game score for 7 points, only down 3 points from 6th, 1 from 7th. So how do we feel about Clinical Fury heading into week 4? You do have them in 7th over 8th place right now, so kind of give me the rundown with that.
There's really not a whole lot to it, if I'm honest. I think I just have more faith in Clinical at least winning one game this season and not ending up in 8th. There's really not a whole lot to my 7th and 8th place picks. Honestly, I think I don't really see a whole lot of growth between the two teams unless a major change is implemented now. Like within the next 20 minutes before they start their game, there needs to be a massive change. I don't see that happening, so I don't really see either of these teams pulling themselves up to be like a middle of the pack team. I think they are going to stay maybe back and forth between 7th, 8th, maybe 6th.
All right, fair enough. We heard a little bit about Cloud. It's time now to talk about Mountain. First team we are going to be discussing, it is New World Esports Mercury. This is interesting because now we start to see a little bit of the differences as we saw with Cloud. Everyone pretty much had kind of a uniform selection. Mountain is when things start to mix up. We have a few CV Beezes at the top. We have 2 New World Esports, a RPG Cubs up in #1 seed as well. So we're going to let Fury. You put New World Esports Mercury 3-0, 6-0. There are first, second, and third teams right now. All are sitting undefeated at the moment. 1 point separates first and third. What are your thoughts here on selecting New World Esports Mercury to be #1 here?
I just think they're looking really, really solid this split. They started off strong. They're continuing to look strong. And it's not to say that RPG Cubs and Ibiza aren't as well, but just from what I've seen from New World, I don't know that there's what was I going to say, much to do on it, because obviously they won against Jesters. I think they beat Roar. So you can kind of say they haven't had the hardest lineup yet, because I think they went up against Phantoms even in week 1, who are not a team now.
Yes.
So you can say they kind of had an easy 3 weeks to start off with, but at the same time, I do think that might actually help them, because you're kind of coming off the back of 3 easy wins. You might think you're kind of on top of the world and just riding that high. However, I think once they lose, if they do lose to like Ibiza or Cubs, it's going to kind of maybe put a damper on that. I mean, even tonight they're playing Void, I think, right? Glacial Void, which so far is going to be their hardest matchup of them all, even with Void being pretty far down the standings at the moment.
Yeah, all right. Let's talk about the RPG Cubs then up next. And it looks like one of our casters have slotted them in first. And for the most part, it's second or third. Bucks, you put them in third place. Go ahead and talk to me about your decision.
Well, like, basically, so far, like, Mercury Cubs kind of have the similar situation of Jupiter, where they haven't really faced like the greatest teams in their division from what I've seen. Like I think they faced like Glacial Void, like some of them face Phantoms, RAR, some of them face Jesters. Like those are like the lower bracket teams. So they're showing that they can, get up in the bracket. But now I think coming forward with their schedule, they're going to be facing like Aristocrats and Ibiza and the better teams. And I'll be curious to see how they do against them. But I'm assuming that they're just going to be, fighting for the middle of the pack for now, anyway.
Yep. All right. Fair enough. Up next, it is CV Ibiza, one of the teams that was kind of brought in and expected to go the distance this season. They're sitting 3-0. They have dropped one game, so they are only 1 point behind Mercury and the Cubs. Fury, you put them in third place, though. Go ahead and walk me through your decision on that.
So it's mainly because they went against Roar week 1 and who was it? Week 2 Jesters, I believe. And then week 3, they beat Void, which was a little bit of a harder team.
Mhm.
But I think it's kind of the opposite of New World, where they played a couple of easy games. But tonight, I think it's going to be the hardest. I honestly think this is going to be a really good game tonight. It's Ibiza versus Cubs.
Yeah.
And so one of these teams has to lose, obviously. And I think Ibiza are going to fall tonight. I think Cubs win this one tonight.
Okay, fair enough. Up next, we are going to talk about Clown Gaming Aristocrats. 1 and 2, sitting with a 3-4 game score for 11 points. It does look like the community and Trucks have slotted them in for second place. Everyone else has gone to fourth place. So Trucks, I'm going to need the T as to why you have them ranked 2 spots higher than the rest of everyone else.
I mean, I've played against this team already, and they're actually really good. I think that anyone that doesn't think Ibiza is going to be number 1, unless Ibiza like trolls all their drafts and their picks, which they will probably do because Kyan likes to pick crazy stuff. But anyways, Aristocrats as a team, very solid, good players. They perform really well. So I think that it's going to be hands down an easy second place for them. I don't see them losing many games to the teams in this division, unless Cubs or New World like shows that they can like play with the big boys and beat teams bigger than RAR, Glacial, and stuff like that. I don't think anybody's going to contest with them.
All right, fair enough. The next team we would have talked about, it would have been Phantoms, but F's in chat for the Fallen team.
Truck still has him in 5th, man.
Yeah, well, I assume that's because Trucks Trucks was basing it off of if they were still in the league, this is where they would be.
True.
Which is kind of unfortunate because they had a potential to make playoffs, but at the end of it, it just didn't work out. F's in chat. Congrats to anyone up against Phantoms for the rest of the season. Enjoy the win. We're not going to talk about...
Is that what happens tonight? They just get a free win on it? Okay.
Shout out. So up next, Glacial Void. We're going to be talking about them. They look like they're sitting in the 5th to kind of 6th pretty consistently for everyone in here right now. And Fury, they're coming in 1 and 2, 2 and 4. If you're a Glacial Void player or fan, are you worried yet? Are you heading into week 4? How you feeling?
I wouldn't be too nervous about the season as a whole. I would be nervous tonight because you're against New World. But at the same time, like we talked about, New World won against a couple of easy teams. They're going against Glacial Void tonight. This might be the night that they actually falter and fall. Glacial Void can definitely take advantage of that. But I do think overall, Glacial Void, very middle of the pack team. I definitely see them over Roar and Jesters for the whole split. I see them at least in 4th place. I don't really think they would climb too much, but I think they're pretty solid playoff spot just by hanging out where they are in the middle.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. Up next, we're going to talk about RAR. Looks like they are kind of 6th, 7th, and the community has voted them 8th. Trucks, give me the rundown on RAR. They are 0-3, 0-6, have unfortunately yet to pick up a game in their division. What are you feeling about them?
I mean, I actually debated putting them 8th.
Okay.
Like, the big problem with RAR is not necessarily the people that get put on their team, like it's their management. Like I noticed that their management likes to just cycle players in and out, like just keep rotating the roster nonstop. And I'm not sure how a roster is supposed to like build synergy or like I don't know, do anything if you just keep cycling players in and out nonstop. Like I think this method of cycling until your team eventually wins is kind of troll. But I mean, I don't know, maybe the management knows something I don't know.
Maybe.
And then the only reason I have Jesters below them is just like I think Jesters. I can't remember who they played, but I looked at some of the games they played, and I felt like they should have done better against some of the teams and matchups they played. I don't remember who it was now, but so I don't know. They're looking really defeated right now, and like I do hope that they start swinging around. Like this. I think that all the bottom teams besides the top two, it could go any way. Just Cubs and New World are performing right now, and I think anybody could swing it if they wanted to.
For sure. Speaking of swinging, let's now take a look at what is going on in Ocean. Because Ocean is all over the place.
This is
the
crazy.
first place team sits at 15 points. The fifth place team at 13. There are 5 teams currently sitting at 2-1 with differing game scores. However, what makes it interesting is all of these teams have pretty much taken games off of each other. So if you want to follow some ridiculousness heading into playoffs, you definitely want to keep track of what is going on in Ocean. So we're going to start it right off the bat. CB Rangers, you see them at first, second, third, and fourth in this division right now. We're going to let Fury take this one away. You've slotted them in first. Why are they the best?
They're just insane. This CB team. That's CB team and BOL. But they are looking very good so far. Like I said, 15 points. What were their wins in the last week? They went against Oasis, I think, in 3.
AK Jasmine, I believe.
Monkeys
Oasis.
Water in 2.
Didn't they lose the? I think they lost to Monkeys though.
They lost to Monkeys.
Yeah, they lost to Monkeys
exactly.
2-1.
They lost to Monkeys, but I think that's like the actual.
You think it was a fluke?
The harder one.
Okay.
No, I don't necessarily think it was a fluke. I think Water is insanely good.
Okay.
And I think I actually predicted Water to win in week 2 because of the home field advantage.
True.
But I just think that was a pretty hard game for them. Honestly, probably one of the harder ones. Obviously, Little Monkeys Water is in second at the moment, and it's basically a tie for second place, right?
Yeah.
It's a very close in the standings. So tonight, I think, is kind of going to flip that around.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see significant changes after what happens tonight, but overall, I think I have them still in first because I believe they are going to be Conduit tonight.
Okay.
Even though I do think Water is going to win as well, I think Rangers are maybe going to win a little bit faster.
Sounds good. That was a wonderful analysis. We are going to speed it up a little bit though, because we do have some. Yeah, we do have some predictions. So, Trucks, you actually put Water the lowest that we've seen in fourth place. So, go ahead and tell me why.
Well, I mean, basically, these 4 teams could be the top 4 teams, like Conduit, CB, IG, Water. It could go anyway. I put them the lowest because I think if these top 3 teams that I have listed, like, put their hand, like, or if they, if they play the way their team needs to be played, if they draft around their team, they take it seriously. I think that the team that's going to lay out the way it is, and Water won't be able to take a game off any of them. That said, I mean, it still could go anyway. If people troll, if they don't play well, draft goes bad, it could go anyway.
All right, fair. All right, up next, Conduit Esports. They're kind of all over the place. First, you don't see them in second for any reason. Third, fourth, and fifth, according to some of the casters. Fear, you put them in fourth. Go ahead and give me the answer as to why.
Sorry, let me pull up everything that I've got here. Conduit. Again, I think they're going to lose tonight. Was the reason why I have them in fourth. I think Monkeys Water and GSG Gamma are both going to win, which would obviously put Conduit down.
Fair enough. Brux, you put GSG Sigma all the way in 5th seed. Go ahead and give me a reason as to why.
I mean, basically what I said before, these top 4 teams are going to be really hard to beat if they stay on their game. And I don't see GSG competing with them. I mean, maybe they will, but
Okay, fair enough.
I think the bottom 3 teams are going to be easy for them though.
All right. You put Imperial Gaming at 5th right now. It's Fury. Is it kind of just a top 5 up for grabs at the moment?
I think so, but at the same time, Imperial Gaming I don't think is at as top of the game as they were in the last couple seasons. And I think the competition is just really stiff. Ocean's kind of a stacked
Yeah, fair.
division.
All right, Chucks, you put Oasis Maelstrom in 7th, and you put AK Jasmine Dragons above them. Gonna give me the rundown on both teams as to why you put them where you put them.
I mean, they're just both not performing. I think they've got decent players on both their rosters, but they just are not making it happen. And so unless they turn it around, they're just going to be stuck where they are, unfortunately.
All right, and wrap us up with Son Goku in 8th place right now, Fury.
Yeah, the teams that are in last right now, AK Jasmine Dragons and Sun Goku. Jasmine Dragons has a little bit of a better time trying to pull themselves back into the middle of the pack, but I think Sun Goku, no offense to them or anything, but unless they pull out an absolute miracle, I don't see them even pulling themselves up to like the middle, like 5th, 6th.
All right, fair enough. That will be power rankings for all 3 divisions. It's time to get in and speed run these matchups. First up, it's TA Dayspa taking on Aftermath Esports. As a member of TA Dayspa Trucks, we need some trash talk, some flame, some spiciness before we head into this game. As I believe this is the streamed game on PLO 1 tonight.
Yeah, I mean the coach for Aftermath said on Otter Talk, on the first episode of Otter Talk, that he supposedly has our number, that he is very familiar with our team. So I mean, it's going to either be like a coach diff or it's going to be, I don't know, hopefully a 2-0. But we'll see.
All right.
I'm curious to see how draft goes.
Feeling confident?
Feeling pretty confident.
Okay, fair enough. All right, I'm going to take the next one. Revolution Halcyon up against Rivals. Halcyon has been struggling. There is no doubt about that. They have yet to pick up a series. They've won 2 games, though. I think there is a chance against a struggling Rivals who have only also picked up 2 games. So I think that this is a turnaround for Revolution Halcyon. Are they going to make playoffs? But I think they have a good opportunity to pick a win off of Rivals here. Up next, Literal Monkeys Fire up against New World Esports Jupiter with the new acquisition at the 80 carry position. You have selected the only person outside of a split community for Literal Monkeys Fire. Take it away, Fury.
I think that's crazy. I think Literal Monkeys, like, they're looking rocky, but at the same time, I think, like, in their last win, they looked very, very clean. I think it's going to be not a 2-0, but it'll be a 2-1 for Fire.
All right, fair enough. Business Time up against Clinical to wrap it up for Cloud Division. Business Time 2-1 up against the 0-3 Clinical. Is there a potential upset? The board says no. What are your thoughts, Trucks? What's the score? And is there a chance that Clinical can eke this one out and cause problems for Business Time?
I mean, I don't think Clinical can take a game off them. And if they do, it's looking pretty doomed for Business Time's climb to the top.
All right. Up next, we're taking a look at the Mountain matchups. It's 2 undefeated Titans heading into Week 4. CBAB's at 3-0 up against Red Panda Gaming Cubs 3-0. This will be the second stream on BUL2 this evening. And it's a little bit favored for CB Ibiza. I'm going to take this one, actually. I think the Red Panda Gaming Cubs have not had a particularly difficult time this season in the matchups they've played. They've played both of the 0-6 teams, and they've played the 5th place team after that. I don't think they're bad. I think their record is a little inflated, and I think tonight they're going to get a wake-up call when they play against CB Ibiza. But I will clarify, last night when we did flat predictions, we got almost everything wrong. So almost everything wrong. It was ridiculous last night. So there is always the opportunity. Don't take it to heart. Just go out there, try your best. Up next, it is RAR taking on Phantoms. Shout out to Rar for taking the W away. Absent chat again for Phantoms.
I think Phantoms can still win.
You think so? The community thinks so
Phantoms
too.
can still win if Roar FF.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if they put together a roster. All right, no. But up next, it is Glacial Void taking on New World Esports Mercury.
Yeah, I think we all
Another
do the same
undefeated
thing, right?
team against the 1 and 2 Glacial Void. Trucks, take it away.
I mean, this is just New World to just keep a chance for New World to just keep proving that they can beat these like lower bracket teams, and if they do, then yeah, maybe they can be a top contender in their division.
All right, fair enough. Let's talk about the next matchup. It is Clown Gaming Aristocrats up against Clown Gaming Jesters. Now, I give it to Revolution in the matchup against Rivals. They have been showing life. Unfortunately, Clown Gaming Jesters have been kind of they've been kind of flopping so far this season, yet to pick up a game. And while Clown Gaming Aristocrats are sitting 1 and 2, they have been able to pick up games in their losses. So I don't see really any signs of life right now from the Jesters. And at this point, it's very difficult, I think, for any of us to give them the benefit of the doubt in this matchup. That does conclude the Mountain matchups. Let's take a look now at Ocean, starting with AK Jasmine Dragons taking on Sun Goku. Fury, take it away.
Yeah, I've got Jazz and Dragons mainly because of what I was talking about earlier with I don't really think Son Goku has the greatest chance coming in being at 0-6. It's kind of like by default because of that AK Jazz and Dragons. I think we'll take this.
Fair enough. Little Monkey's Water up against Oasis Maelstrom. Trucks, you're the only person to select Oasis Maelstrom up against a top-tier team in the Ocean Division. What's going on?
I'm just trying to hype my old buddies at Oasis. Like, I'm friends with them. There's some good players on that team. They could make it happen, but it definitely is like an underdog situation.
All right, fair enough. Speaking of underdog, we're not talking about underdogs coming up. It's GSG Gamma taking on Imperial Gaming, two of the top seeded teams right now, going head to head, and everyone, except for two, have selected Imperial Gaming to win this matchup. Fury, you went for GSG Gamma. Give me the rundown as to why.
I keep like time and time again going against GSG, and whenever I do, they end up winning. And then Decker's like, "Hey, idiot, you need to start like actually thinking that we're gonna win." And now I'm just like gaslit into always picking GSG because I'm afraid I'm going to just be wrong again, and then he's gonna get mad at me.
But this time he'll be wrong.
I don't know. I don't think I will be wrong. I actually think they're gonna do pretty good. IG hasn't, like I said earlier, hasn't really looked on top of their game. I think GSG can take advantage of that.
All right, and last but not least, it is CB Rangers up against Conduit Esports. And 3 for CB Rangers, 4 for Conduit Esports. I'll take this one away. It's not a CB season yet. Maybe later on, back half of the season. Mid-season tournament has not happened yet, so the CB buff has not occurred. Conduit Esports, a little bit of a shaky start to start with, but I think they're kind of hitting their stride at this point moving forward. I think they're going to be in a good spot. And while I admit that CB Rangers have a potentially higher cap right now than Conduit Esports, they're just not quite there at the moment. Conduit takes this one away, and CB drops to 2-2. Before we head to a break, anything either of you would like to say?
Yeah, I've got a nice little bet going with Black Eyed Peas because he's straight up telling me in DMs, he's like, "We're not losing this CB, we're not losing."
Okay.
And I can't wait to rub it in his face. As much as I love him, he's my friend for like 15 years.
Okay.
I'm going to absolutely crap on him if they lose.
All right, well, we're going to throw to a quick break. The stream will drop, but when we are back on Stream 2, it'll be CBBs taking on the RPG Cubs, and on Stream 1, Aftermath Esports take on TA Dayspot, potentially for the #1 seeds. We'll be right back.
All right,